The party was in full swing when I arrived, the sound of laughter and clinking glasses filling the spacious office lounge. I scanned the room, spotting colleagues mingling, some engaged in animated conversations, others quietly sipping drinks in corners. And then I saw her, Lauren, standing near the buffet, chatting with her boss, completely unaware of my presence. I walked over, expecting a small smile, a nod, perhaps even a laugh at the private joke we shared. Instead, she didn't acknowledge me at all. Not a glance, not a smile, not even a flicker of recognition. It was as if I were invisible, a shadow at the edge of her world. Lauren. I tried softly, leaning in just enough to catch her attention. Nothing. I watched as she laughed at something her boss said, her shoulders relaxed, her energy bright, but none of it included me. My heart sank, a mixture of disbelief and hurt washing over me. We had talked about attending this together, about showing up as a team, yet here I was standing alone while she existed in a bubble that had no space for me. I took a step back, letting the moment settle. This wasn't the first time I had felt dismissed, but it was the first time in a public setting where it stung with sharp clarity. I could feel the tension building, a quiet anger under the surface, and the realization hit me. Some situations speak louder than words, and tonight was speaking in volumes I couldn't ignore. I moved toward the drink station, grabbing a glass of water, and considered my next steps. Should I confront her here in front of everyone? Should I leave quietly and let her wonder why I disappeared? My mind raced, analyzing every nuance, every missed glance, every unacknowledged greeting. And then I made my choice. I couldn't linger in a place where I wasn't seen, where my presence was irrelevant. With measured steps, I walked past her, past the group laughing at some inside joke, past the music and the chatter, and toward the exit. The cool night air hit me as I stepped outside, a sharp contrast to the warm chaos inside. My phone buzzed with a text from her. "Did you get here?" I stared at it for a long moment, thumb hovering over the screen, then let it drop. Some messages didn't need answers. Some actions spoke for themselves. I didn't turn back. I didn't look for an explanation, an apology, or even acknowledgement. I walked away, letting the distance grow with each step, knowing that some boundaries once crossed can't be repaired by words alone. The next morning, the memory of the party lingered like a stubborn shadow. I replayed the scene in my mind, the laughter, the casual gestures, the way Lauren had existed in that room as if I didn't belong. It wasn't about jealousy, not entirely. It was about respect, acknowledgement, and the realization that some lines once ignored reveal the true priorities of the people around us. I sat at the kitchen table, coffee in hand, thinking about the distance that had quietly grown between us. For weeks, subtle signs had been ignored, small dismissals brushed off, but tonight had exposed the truth. I wasn't seen in the way I needed to be. And seeing it clearly now, I felt a strange mix of clarity and empowerment. Later that day, I decided to call a close friend, someone I trusted, to provide perspective without judgment. "I left," I said simply, leaning back in my chair. I couldn't stay where I wasn't noticed. There was a pause on the other end, then a slow, approving laugh. "Good," my friend said. "Sometimes you have to show people how it feels to be invisible. Some lessons aren't learned until the consequences hit." By afternoon, I was out walking, the streets bathed in the soft glow of late afternoon sun. Each step felt deliberate, a reminder that I had agency, that I didn't need to tolerate dismissive behavior disguised as social etiquette. I thought about Lauren, not with anger, but with a clear-eyed understanding. She had chosen her actions and I had chosen mine. That evening, I received another message from her. A simple, "Are you okay?" I didn't respond, not out of spite, but because silence was the statement I needed to make. Some actions speak louder than words, and walking away had said everything. Instead, I focused on myself, on friends who valued me, on work that required my attention, and on moments that reminded me of my worth. The emptiness of her acknowledgement-free space was replaced by the presence of those who truly saw me, appreciated me, and respected the boundaries I had set. As night fell, I realized that leaving hadn't been about punishment or proving a point. It had been about preserving dignity, about showing up for myself in a way that no one else could. Some nights, some parties, and some people serve as mirrors, reflecting back truths we've been avoiding. Tonight, the reflection was undeniable. I mattered and I deserved to be noticed in every room, in every conversation, and in every relationship that truly counted. The following week, I decided to reclaim my evenings, my time, and my energy. Invitations came, but I declined most of them, choosing instead to focus on spaces where my presence mattered, where I was acknowledged without question. Each yes and no became a small act of self-respect, a reinforcement of the boundary I had quietly but firmly established at that party. By midweek, Lauren reached out again, this time with a longer message. She wrote about work pressures, misunderstandings, and fleeting moments she claimed she hadn't realized. But the words felt hollow, a pale attempt to bridge a distance that had grown beyond casual fixes. I read them carefully, then set the phone aside. Some doors, once closed, are meant to stay that way. Instead, I called Rachel my partner in life, and the one who had consistently stood by me through small frustrations and large trials alike. Her laugh, warm and genuine over the phone, reminded me why I had chosen this path, why I had walked away from a momentary test of patience and respect. By Friday, I was attending a small dinner with friends, feeling lighter, freer, and oddly empowered. The absence of unresolved tension allowed me to enjoy the night fully, to immerse myself in conversation without the shadow of yesterday's party lingering over me. Each smile, each laugh was a reminder that acknowledgement, appreciation, and respect weren't just nice. They were essential. Late that night, I found a quiet moment alone, reflecting on the week. Walking away hadn't been easy, and the pull of curiosity, the temptation to return and demand recognition, had been strong. But I realized something crucial. My worth isn't dictated by someone else's recognition. True value is self-defined, reinforced by those who genuinely see and respect you. The following Monday at work, Lauren acted as if nothing had happened. I nodded politely, engaged professionally, but remained emotionally distant. No longer invisible, I was simply detached, observing without expectation, understanding without attachment. My boundaries had been tested and preserved. Sometimes life puts people and situations in your path not for drama, not for confrontation, but to remind you of your own strength. That night at her boss's party had been a test of patience, respect, and self-awareness. Walking away had not been defeat, it had been a quiet, deliberate victory. And as I ended the day, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't expected. Some lessons are harsh but necessary. Some doors are closed not to punish, but to protect what matters most. I had chosen myself, and in that choice I had never felt more alive, more certain, and more in control of my life than I did at that very moment.